welcome to the Sheraton Hotel here in lovely downtown Philadelphia for the 2024 Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame. We will be your hosts this afternoon. My name is MLJ, alongside Independent Wrestling Hall of Famer Dave Prazak.
Thank you, Emil. And since we are here in Philadelphia with such rich wrestling history, we are focusing this year's class on some legendary contributors to the wrestling scene, particularly here in Philadelphia.
So I think we should get the festivities underway. We'll get the ceremony started. You talked about wrestling here in Philadelphia, and let me tell you something. There was one man in the mid-2000s, the whole early 2000s, that first part of this millennium, that was a trailblazer, whether it's singles, tag team, you name it. He traveled all across the country and the world. I'm talking about Trent Acid. Now let's take a look at the career of Trent Acid. An amazing professional wrestler whose influence is still being seen today. And here to induct Trent Acid into the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame, his longtime tag team partner from the Backseat Boys, Johnny Cashman.
I've never spoken on this, so if I'm emotional, please excuse me. I don't really know what to say except thank you. If Trent were here, he would thank every one of you. And there's so many people that made such an impact on us and on Trent that were like his benefactors, that believed in him so much that they were willing to do whatever it took to help him, and to no benefit of their own. And I have to just read a list, if you'll indulge me, of some of the people that have gone unthanked for the past 12 or 15 years since he's passed. The Pitbulls, Gary Wolf and Anthony Durante. Donnie B, who created the Backseat Boys and chose Trent Acid. Took me right out of wrestling school, didn't even know how to be a singles wrestler, and they had me tagging with Trent, who was my finishing school. You know, he trained me pretty much, and I gotta say, John Zandig sacrificed and gave him so many opportunities. Homicide, Fat Frank of Jersey All-Pro, Steve Corino, PWF. Missy Hyatt did so much for Trent and cared and loved him like you've done to so many people, and you don't get enough credit for that, Missy. God bless you. Also All our boys from CZW that we'd watch tapes with and make fun of each other. The High Five, Ian Knox, Nick Gage, Nate Hatred, Justice Payne, Max Mack, who passed last year, Z-Bar, who passed the year before, Bret Hart. Bret Hart asked Trent to train his son Dallas, who now runs Dungeon Wrestling and is just an amazing human being. That, to me, what better acknowledgement can you have of your talent than to have someone like Bret Hart even give you the time of day, especially when you're a 20, 21-year-old kid. The Bad Crew, Nova, giving us supplements when we couldn't afford to eat. Dennis Carluzzo, giving us extra $20 for going to the after party, brother. Jim Kettner, Rick Blade, B-Boy, Ruckus, Billy Reel, Mike Rosario, Ron Neiman, Reckless Youth, Trent Acid, and Indy Darling trained an Indy Darling. Don Montoya, H.C. Loke, Tony DeVito, Nick Burke, Brian Logan, Pat Tanaka taught us some tag team moves and took us under his wing for a period of time, which meant the friggin' world to us. Dewey Donovan, the Messiah, or as Trent called him, Mark Saya. Lee, all of our students, Ian, his family who's here today, his daughter, Jules, and Mother Debbie, who are here, have not been acknowledged as his daughter, but that's his daughter. I see it when I look in her face. People like Kevin Kelly, who went out of his way for Trent, the Briscoe brothers, the Briscoe parents, who drove us down to Cornelia, Georgia, and dealt with us in a Suburban for 8 hours or 12 hours each way. They need to be sainted and put in the Hall of Fame next year. And all the guys that supported him along the way. Drake Younger, guys like Nate Webb, so many more guys. I've probably forgotten many people, but I just want you all to know, on behalf of Trent Acid, on behalf of the backseats, Joel Maximo and the SAT, I can't forget you, my brother, my God, I love you. Face, all you guys. The next generation has been injected with Trent Acid, not because he wanted it, but because the next generation chose it. They chose to honor Trent. No one's forcing it, and I think it's beautiful. And I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart, just like it says on that sign. The last person we're thanking tonight is me, Ani Kashmir. It makes the sign more valuable because it has an error on it. Thank you. God bless.
Our next inductee into the 2024 class of the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame is somebody who has wrestled pretty much, I think, everybody who has ever existed, for every promotion that has existed, every country that has ever had professional wrestling. This man was there at the forefront, doing his thing and creating a legacy for himself. The next inductee to the Hall of Fame, Steve Corino. And here to induct him into the Hall of Fame is somebody who is keeping the Corino name alive worldwide, his son, Colby Corino.
So I've really been putting off writing this speech. So much so that I didn't start writing it till I got here about an hour ago. And I'm pretty sure we started late because they were waiting for me to finish it. But I've been struggling to find a good way to start it. Because how do I pay proper respect to someone like my dad who's had a career like him? And it's a question that I've not only struggled to answer in the days leading up to this event, but it's something I struggle to answer every time I step up to the microphone, every time I walk out of the curtain, or anytime I'm in a public eye. It's a lot of pressure. And I'm not saying that to be all, woe is me, I don't want you to feel bad for me. I say it to emphasize the career that he's had. He's set such a big precedent, and he's left such a lasting impression on professional wrestling that has pushed me to try to get out of the shadow, not out of spite, but because I don't want to be looked at as just Steve Corino's kid. I want people to see him as Colby Corino's dad. And I don't mean that with any insult. I mean it like the way that people see Cody as Dusty, or, oh my God, I already messed it up. As people see Dusty as Cody's dad, rather. You know, it's just, I want to be just as great as him. So I figured the best way to start it would be from the beginning and kind of recap the highlights of his career. He started in 1994, making this his 30th year in professional wrestling. And while that also makes him very old, despite that, I still think he's in the best shape of his whole life. And if we had a chance to have a tag team run together, I'm positive that I would be the one trying to keep up it with him rather than the other way around. In '96, I was born. He took me to my first independent wrestling show when I was 3 weeks old. And we also moved down to North Carolina in '96. We lived in a trailer park across the street, or street's overstating it. It was kind of a dirt road from his parents. And his parents' backyard, we used to set up a ring. And in that ring, there'd be people like my dad, the Hardy brothers, Shane Helms, all the people that were involved with Omega. In 1998, he would debut for ECW, and we all know how that went. He would end up winning the ECW World Heavyweight Championship, and then after leaving ECW, he would capture the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, the AWA World Heavyweight Champion, the ROH World Tag Team Champions, the MLW World Heavyweight Champion, the WWC Universal title. We'd be here all night if I try to list the 50 plus titles that he's won in his career. It's a lot. In 2001, he started the Premier Wrestling Federation in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, a promotion that still is going on today down in North Carolina. In the 2000s, he wrestled for basically every single company that was around in the 2000s. TNA, ROH, he even had a dark match in 2007 with Kofi Kingston for WWE. Oh, I lost my place.
2007.
I think most people remember that time, though, for his feud with Homicide, one of the most bloody and violent feuds in independent wrestling history. I remember being in the building for the riot my dad caused at the ROH first anniversary show. And I also remember him telling me how we can't go back to New York for a year after that. And I also remember how that Homicide slapped my dad so hard that to this day, he's still deaf in one ear. And that's just one of the sacrifices he's had to make for independent wrestling. And not just he didn't just do it for wrestling, but specifically independent wrestling. Like, he wasn't doing it on TV. He did it for 500 people in a gymnasium. And he did it to build a territory, as we like to say. There's long weeks away, missed holidays, missed birthdays, and it's something I don't hold against him because it's the same sacrifices I have to make today with my family. I'm lucky to have a wife and a child that support me as much as they do, because it's really hard. Not just on me, but on them too. In all this time, you might have noticed that I haven't even gotten to all the stuff my dad has done internationally. From the UK, to India, to Finland, to Japan, where he completed over 150 tours. While making his name all over the world, he helped over 40 American wrestlers make their first journeys to Japan as well. Just one of the many things he's done to help wrestlers and wrestling in general. In 2007, my dad announced at the end of the year he would retire, and he wrestled his last match on December 28th, 2007. On January 4th, 2008, he returned from his retirement and won the 0-1 US Championship. In 2009, he returned to Ring of Honor, and this is where I fell in love with independent wrestling. Watching people like Roderick Strong, Kevin Steen, El Generico, Colt Cabana, his feuds with El Generico and Colt Cabana, and then his feud with Kevin Steen, that's what made me fall in love with wrestling and decide that this is what I want to do with my life. And this is the way I want to do it. I want to make memories that people remember 15 years from now, just like I remember them, and how those memories are ingrained in my mind. I want something like that. I want to be just as good as my dad. Without independent wrestling, I don't think there would be a Colby Corino anymore. I probably would have overdosed or killed myself at some point because, like, I don't think I'm good at anything else. And this is what I'm meant to do. And my love for independent wrestling specifically, because I never watched TV wrestling. All I watched was what my dad was on. I watched the independents, I watched Japan. So that's what I want to do. And that love was instilled to me by him. In 2006, he formed the Carolina Wrestling Academy in North Carolina, where he still helps us train the next generation of professional wrestlers. And in the beginning of 2017, he began his tenure as a full-time coach at the WWE Performance Center. But even then, his contributions to independent wrestling didn't stop there. To this day, he still helps run PWF and the Carolina Wrestling Academy, even though he probably doesn't have the time to. He makes time, and it's not because of the money, because he has the money that he needs. And I'm guaranteed PWF is not paying the bills for him. But he does it to help wrestling, and he does it to help everyone else. And that's the theme with Steve Corino, is that he wants to help everybody. And I think that's the lasting mark that's going to be left at the end of the day when people remember Steve Corino. So why don't we bring him up here?
Colby had a phone, I have a teleprompter. Thank you, Ryan Katz. So if I don't mess this up, you know, it's gonna be pretty cool. No. Just before I even start, I just wanna say what an honor it is to see so many people that I haven't seen in years, and not just wrestlers, but fans, and you know, amazing people that have come into my life, even for just a moment. And it's so humbling, and it just fills my heart with so much joy. And, you know, I see people walk through that door, and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't seen seen Drake, and I haven't seen Donnie B, and you know, Joel, and Missy Hyatt, and first of all, Missy Hyatt should be in every Hall of Fame in wrestling. The contributions that Missy Hyatt has given to this business from day one just is so underrated, and she is such a smart woman, and she deserves every award that ever comes her way. So what is an independent wrestler? The definition is simply not being under the control of someone, not depending on another's authority. But that's not what we are. We are professional wrestlers, travel agents, social media managers, booking agents, choreographers, stunt people, customer service reps, and home doctors. We may learn and try to perfect our crafts in small buildings in front of small crowds. We fight for every dollar that we earn, even though that we know that we're underpaid. But let's face it, we would do this for free. We wrestle because we love it. We wrestle because there's no better thrill than being able to perform in front of fans. And it doesn't matter if there's 5, 50, or 500. The effort and the passion never changes. 30 years ago yesterday, I made my professional wrestling debut. In a nightclub 66 miles from here that Google tells me went out of business. Unfortunately, that happens when I perform in a building. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just there. I just knew for the first time in my life that I could call myself a professional wrestler. I was a shy, naive, 20-year-old kid, 165 pounds soaking wet. Yep, 165. I literally wore 2 shirts to wrestle because I knew I didn't have the look. I just wanted to have one match. That was the goal, one match. No WWF, no WCW, no ECW, no Japan, no Puerto Rico, no Mexico, no Europe or Australia. Just one match. I just wanted to feel the thrill of getting into the ring. But if you've wrestled, immediately after that match, my mind, and trust me, that match was awful, I'm sorry. But my whole perspective changed. In those 6 or 7 minutes that the Mess Brothers were beating my ass in a nightclub that I just saw Quiet Riot at a couple weeks earlier, I was hooked. I wanted more matches, more travel, and to learn. I've always said that I was the luckiest person to ever step through those ropes. I was never the biggest, I was never the strongest, and I was never the most athletic. I was a shy kid, born in Canada, that moved to Philadelphia as a child. I stuttered. I could never talk in public. But one of the best things about this business, that there are people that will never give up on you. Guys like Simon Diamond, Ace Darling, Crowbar Devon Storm, and King Kalua. Heroes to me to this day for their kindness and willing to be patient with me and teach me. People like the Headbangers, Bill DeMont, Jimmy Del Rey, Dr. Tom Pritchard, who would sit down with me and break down a match. Not because they had to, just because they wanted to see people with passion become better at professional wrestlers. Promoters like Jim Kentner, Jimmy Dio, Dennis Whipwreck, Donnie B, Count Grog, Q-Ball Carmichael, Tommy Fierro, Mike Illians, and the late, great Dennis Carluzzo. They gave me a chance to be on their shows, and they asked me back because they knew that this is what I wanted to do, and I would do anything. And that is what an independent professional wrestler has, passion. It is insane to write down what we do and tell someone from the outside world about it, especially when it comes to like pay. Wait, you did all that shit for 20 bucks, 50 bucks, or even 150 bucks? Hell yeah, we did. It's never been about the money. It's about the passion and the love that we have for this amazing sport of professional wrestling. It is about being able to travel all over the country and sometimes all over the world. Car rides packed in a beat-up car that you didn't know if it was going to make it, and you didn't care if you were going to make it back. You just wanted to wrestle. It was about staying in a hotel with 5 different people and people sleeping on the floors. You loved it. It was some of the best times of your life, and no one ever complained because we're a family. And it doesn't matter if you're a wrestler, a referee, security, or a fan. We're all a family in this crazy world. I've heard it described again and again as wrestling is the land of misfit toys, and I couldn't agree more. Independent wrestling even gave me the amazing opportunity to include my own family in this business. My sister Allison Danger had a great career as a proud women's wrestler. Like me, she got to travel the world doing what she loved. She got to be a part of Shimmer Wrestling with Dave Prazak, and they helped create some of the best women wrestlers that you see on TV and are leading a new generation of great women's wrestling. My sister and I even got to tour Japan together. I can still picture it like it was yesterday. I was managing Kathy on a Pro Wrestling Sun show in Tokyo. We left the arena and we were walking around Shinjuku. We stopped once and looked around and she said, "Not too bad for 2 kids that grew up in Trapp, Pennsylvania, huh?" And it's true. That's what independent wrestling gave us. And then there's my oldest son, Colby, my favorite wrestler. I was barely in the business 2 years when Colby was born. The day he was due, I was wrestling in Alexandria, Virginia at a bar. The headbangers went behind the bar and sat next to the phone just in case his mother went into labor. He grew up watching me wrestle for the minimal amount of money and then getting up and working a 10-hour shift right down the street at Wawa Dairies. He traveled with me to Japan 5 times before he was 10 years old. He was literally born to be a professional wrestler. And what a wrestler he is. What a man he is. And what a father he is. He had it tough. I wasn't there for him as much as I wanted to be when he was growing up. I tried to justify it and say I was building a career to make his life easier, but it wasn't. He had it hard. I missed his 8th birthday because I was on a tour of Japan. Almost 20 years later, there isn't a day that I don't think about it and regret it, but he never complained. He is not only a survivor, but Colby Corino is a success story. When he battled demons, independent wrestling was there and still is for him. The love that each and every one of you showed him got him through tough times. Independent wrestling is now his family, and I couldn't be prouder of him. He's my ultimate hero. It's been 7.5 years since I've been an active wrestler. Even being in Ring of Honor 01 in New Japan, I still took indie dates because I loved it. I look at the scene now, and it's better than it was 7 years ago, 15 years ago, and hell, even 30 years ago. I see the Alex Shelleys, the Speedball Mike Baileys, the Joey Janellas, the Effies, the Jackson Drakes, the Caitlin Maries, the Bojacks, the Diego Hills, and countless others leading this and the next generation of independent wrestling, and it makes this old man really happy. Not only is independent wrestling strong, but it's thriving. There's a sense of pride when I go into our Carolina Wrestling Academy and I watch someone go from day one like a baby deer, and then they feel the emotion of the fans when they wrestle their first match in the PWF. And I'd be lying to each and every one of you if I told you I don't miss it. I've been so fortunate in my career in life. I've won titles, I've traveled the world, I've wrestled legends. I've had an amazing job where I get to teach what I love to the current and future WWE superstars. But to become a member of the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame in front of my sons Colby and Beckham, my friends and family that came, and say I'm in the class of one of my first favorite wrestlers, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, is the greatest honor of them all. For those of you who are either just starting your journey on the independent scene or have been on the independent scene for years and strive to make this your full-time job, don't let anyone tell you it's impossible. Tell them that all you hear is impossible. Create moments, because the moments that you create become memories. And those memories, they'll live forever. Thank you.
Our next inductee into the 2024 class of the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame is someone who really excelled at doing every job possible in this industry, whether it be just as a professional wrestler inside the ring, his ability to talk on the microphone, his ability creatively as a creative mind, as a booker. He wore every hat, threw some of the best fireballs in the business, and contributed throughout the world of professional wrestling. But we are celebrating independent wrestling here in Philadelphia, from a series of matches against Cactus Jack for Joel Goodhart's TWA, to being a headliner for Dennis Coralluzzo, matches against Terry Funk and many others. Right now, we are going to take a look at the career of Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert.
Said I don't know if I've ever been good enough. I'm a little bit rusty and I think my head is caving in. And I don't know if I've ever been really loved by a hand that's touched me, and I feel like something's gonna give. And I'm a little bit angry, well, this ain't over, no, not here. Not while I still need you around. You don't hold me, we might change it. Yeah, we just might feel good. I wanna push you around. Well, I will, well, I will. I wanna push you down. Well, I will, well, I will. I wanna take you for granted. I wanna take you for granted. Yeah, I will, I will.
And to induct and accept on behalf of Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, the King of Philadelphia of the Eastern Championship Wrestling, none other than the Walking Riot, Missy Hyatt.
Thank you very much. That made me cry. All right, here we go. Out of Eddie Gilbert's 3 ex-wives, why am I always the one that has to represent him? There are many aspects of Eddie Gilbert, from the good and the bad, that need to be acknowledged. Eddie was a complex person. He had a drive for wrestling business, his talent, and especially booking. There were times that led him down a dark path. Eddie never knew how to give his mind store hours when it came to the business. It ended up with him overanalyzing the sheets, coming up with conspiracy theories, and driving away personal relationships. No matter what job you have in wrestling, please don't let it consume you to the point that you burn bridges with friends and family. Eddie not only thought about angles and promos for himself, but he did it for others. If you have a creative mind, you will have enough ideas to share with everyone. Eddie was generous enough to mentor talent, discover talent. Nobody should ever feel that their spot is threatened by recommending talent. The better product equals more work for everybody. If you have ideas that could benefit others, you should always help each other out, from the match layout to angles and promos. Backstage wrestling should be a team effort in order to elevate others, create new stars, and give the fans the best product. Nobody should ever be stingy with their mind and their ideas. Eddie was generous in that manner as a player coach. Sometimes our career legacies are not all about ourselves. Eddie left a lasting legacy in shaping the minds of legendary booker Paul Heyman, which made him one of the greatest wrestling minds of this generation. Eddie mentored Rick Steiner, Sting, Shane Douglas, and countless others in teaching them in-ring psychology. Eddie always excelled in the role as a player coach with green talent. He had influence in taking green workers like Sting and Rick Steiners and others to figure out their strengths and for them to learn how to lead in the ring. He never had the attitude that he was the senior or others and nobody was worth teaching. Sorry. Eddie took a shoestring budget in Continental and helped use it to create new talent, discover new talent, and repackage old talent. I see that type of drive in GCW. I discovered so much new talent as a fan that watching GCW, and since talent recommends talent, like I said, Eddie was a team player when his mind was in a good place. Another thing Eddie did was something for everybody as a booker, except me. He used plenty of gimmick matches and storylines to accentuate talent on a limited budget. In the ring, Eddie knew how to steal the show with brawls that got the fans into a frenzy and were a lot safer in comparison to just hitting people with objects that really hurt. There are a lot of brawling tricks that you can learn from Eddie's matches with Cactus Jack and Terry Funk. The in-ring psychology that can be applied to this day. I see a lot of Eddie's influence in modern-day wrestlers like Eddie Kingston, who credits Eddie as an influence. Unfortunately, Eddie didn't know how to deal with his frustrations with management and booking. If you don't like how you're being used, don't go into business for yourself on the microphone or in the ring. That's selfish to the fans and to the locker room. It's best to leave promotion on any size in good terms rather than burn bridges. You can always go back when management changes, egos cool off, or if the booker has something for you. That was Eddie's biggest flaw, and we should all learn from it. Thanks to YouTube, Eddie Gilbert's legacy will live on. Eddie's best work, from the Tupelo concession stand brawl, his Memphis stuff, UWF, and matches with Terry Funk and Cactus Jack, still entertain me to this day. Thank you, GCW, Brett Lauderdale, and especially the fans for keeping Eddie Gilbert's legacy alive. Thank you.
And while we are here to celebrate some of the greatest wrestlers in independent wrestling, we're also here to celebrate a great fan of independent wrestling. Let's take a look at the life of Kevin Hogan.
You just need to find some place to get away. You can't forget your name, and there's no need to apologize. Apologize. It could be a good life. It could be such a very good life. We could find a place for just me and you. Need some place to stay safe. Need some place to stay safe and warm. Why don't we deserve the same? You just need to find some place to get away. You can't forget your name, and there's no need to apologize. You just need to find some place to get away. You can't forget your name.
Have a good day.
And there's no
See you
need to
tomorrow.
apologize.
I'm out of here.
Look into the Spanish moss. Let your mind conjure up.
It is my absolute pleasure to be the one that gets to induct my good friend Kevin Hogan into the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame. So at this time, I would just like to speak from the heart real quick about my friend. I remember when I first started coming to independent wrestling in 2006, I was by myself, 17, 18 years old, driving up from Atlantic City to Philadelphia, just wanting to watch everything. And one of the first people I met in the new Alhambra Arena, Viking Hall, ECW Arena, whatever you want to call it, was Kevin Hogan. I was introduced to him through Mike from VA, and became friends with him and Brett Lauderdale and Loudy and everybody else who sat on that section over there in the new Alhambra Arena. But somebody who I could guarantee to see, not just at the arena, but pretty much any wrestling event that was going on in the area, I would see my friend Kevin Hogan with the same smile on his face the first day I met him. It's a smile that I'll always remember, I'll never forget. So much so that even on the old CZW fans message board, roll call, who's coming to the show? Sure enough, in all caps, I will be there, happy face. And let me tell you, he never lied, he never let us down, he was there every single time. And I didn't have the opportunity to be on any road trips with him, but I only heard great things about how every year when they would go to WrestleMania, somehow, some way, he was able to get out of the parking garage within 2 minutes. After last night, how? Doesn't make sense. I remember hearing about the time when he traveled to a deathmatch wrestling tournament. He brought 2 suitcases. One was for his clothes, and the other full of weapons and candy. That man had a sweet tooth that you couldn't believe, which led to his moniker, the Muffin King. He was all about his muffins, so much so. In his honor with the Muffin Club shirt. As a matter of fact, he loved muffins so much that when I was in charge of Dojo Wars and we got the very sad news, I decided to make the next Dojo Wars that we had in memory of Kevin Hogan. We called it Muffin Mania. And from that moment on, we always had a steel chair reserved for him with his picture, with Cluck Hogan sitting in the chair. We never forgot Kevin Hogan. at any point in time, and I never will. And, you know, there's some things that always remind me of Kevin Hogan. He always came to shows with a pizza cutter. Longtime friends of his will... The La Parka mask. He loved La Parka. You would see him wearing this mask at shows. If it was Christmas time, he would dress up like Santa Claus. He would threaten to set DJ Hyde on fire. He was the best fan of professional wrestling you could ever ask for. He didn't care about all the drama, all the bullshit. He just loved all of the wrestlers and what they did in the ring with his unwavering support. It's such a pleasure to induct Kevin Hogan into the Hall of Fame, but for me, that's all I gotta say. I'm out of here. But to accept on his behalf are his brother and sister, Steve and Lynn Hogan.
Thank you all. Kevin was the biggest fan there is, especially of indie wrestling. Kevin went to any show that was drivable, and then any show that wasn't drivable that he had to take a plane or carpool with people or whatever he had to do to get there, he would get there. I remember the one time he came home and told my mother he was going to Indianapolis for wrestling for the weekend. And he was driving out there with people from wrestling that he met. And my mom said, well, who's going? And then he's like, oh, it's just me, 3 guys and this girl. Yeah, my mom wasn't real happy about the girl part. But they were all fans. They went anywhere and everywhere together. He met them through you. You guys, wrestlers and fans, brought him in his family. You welcomed him anywhere he was. He was so happy to see you. And you recognized him. And that meant the world to him. He felt like he was part of your family. We felt like he was part of your family, just like you're part of ours. And we thank you for this honor for Kevin.
Our next inductee into the 2024 class of the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame is someone who, coming up at the end of next month, I will have known for 20 years, as she was one of the only flights for the first women's wrestling event that I was able to book in, I think it was Hammond, Indiana. And when about a year later I decided that I was going to give a shot at running my own women's wrestling company, she was one of the first names that came to mind that we could rely on as a top star, as a main eventer. And she became one of the most crucial parts of that company for 16 years that we existed. Her series of matches against Sarah Del Rey helped really put us on the map, catch everyone's attention, and get that ball rolling as a DVD series. But she has not only delivered in the ring anytime you put her with any opponent from around the world, but she's also served as a great mentor for the current generation of women's wrestlers that you see around the world. on television. And thankfully, after a great and very impressive career on the independent scene, finally the past few years, she has gotten that worldwide television exposure for her career as well. And right now, let's take a look at the career of the Latina sensation, Mercedes Martinez.
I go, I stay, I fall undecided. All of these walls could break, cave in any moment, written all over my face. No, I can't hide it all. I can't hide it all. A momentary sweetheart feels so good. If someone turned the lights off, what would I do? 'Cause only when it's gone you look for something new. Well, don't you hate when I go? This carpet is stained of all the stories from the night before you came, uninvited, knocking loud on my door to save me, but you don't care at all. No, you don't care at all. A momentary sweetheart feels so good. If someone turned the lights off, what would I do? 'Cause only when it's gone you look for something new. Well, don't you hate when I go? I stare at shadows playing tricks in my room.
To induct Mercedes Martinez into the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame, someone who was a key part of Shimmer as well, assisting Allison Danger and myself as a producer. Couldn't have done it without her. And more importantly, one of Mercedes Martinez's best friends in this industry since I hit the Latina sensation thing, Foxy Lady, Lexi Fife.
I don't have a teleprompter. I have big print, so I don't have to wear my glasses. Ooh, hi, I haven't been in front of a wrestling crowd in a while. This feels good. I was so honored to be asked to come and introduce the next Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame inductee. A little over 23 years ago, an injury to a basketball player was one of the best things that happened to professional wrestling. Not only women's wrestling, but wrestling in general. Mercedes Martinez, looking for something to do while rehabbing her injury, found professional wrestling, and the wrestling world became a better place. This ceremony actually brings things to a full circle, as I met Mercedes Martinez in 2002 when we wrestled for the first time at a Corino Pro show in Pennsylvania. She was still a green rookie, but I knew there was something special about her. She listened to everyone and seemed to absorb information. We saw each other infrequently for several years, but she just got better and better. Then Shimmer started, and I was just floored by how good she had gotten over the years that we weren't seeing each other, and she'd grown as a wrestler. I always tried to watch her matches on this little tiny TV screen that we had in the back room because I was always so impressed. When Mercedes moved to Florida, we started working together more often, and that's when I really noticed what was so special about her. She truly understands what wrestling is and always should be. It's about entertaining the crowd. It's not always, it's having the best match possible that makes the fans feel something and react to what you're doing. It's not about getting all your spots in or making yourself look like the best wrestler on the show. It's about doing what's right for the promotion and the match that you're in. And she always does what's best for that. This is an art form that not everyone can do well. And she can do it all, from brawling to technical and throwing a lot of high spots too. She has the versatility to do whatever is needed for her for that show. I'm going to steal a little line that Colby said and say, I could list all the belts she has won and the promotions she worked for, but we'd be here for hours, so we're not going to go into all that. Just suffice it to say, she has worked worldwide and won hundreds of titles probably at this point in time. Mercedes Martinez is everything that a Hall of Famer should be. She is going into her 3rd decade of wrestling and still has a busier schedule than most of the younger wrestlers. Other wrestlers get excited when they get booked against Mercedes because they know they are going to have a great match. They'll get pushed hard, take a lot of hard hits. I do not miss getting chopped by her. But they're going to learn a lot and come out a better wrestler at the end. When you talk to fans after a show Mercedes is on, they always mention her match as one of the best on the show. And that is saying a lot about her ability. Mercedes also loves to help others improve their craft. She has no problem hopping in the ring with someone, helping someone work out some moves they want to try, or talking over matches with wrestlers that want to critique. She cares about this crazy business that we're in and wants to see others succeed a lot. And that says a lot about her character. Throughout the years, Mercedes stayed true to her values. She wanted to be and was trained to be a wrestler. She never changed herself or the way she presented herself to conform to anyone's idea of what a women's wrestler should be. She helped to break the stigma and pave the way for new generations of women's wrestlers. Mercedes worked hard, stayed true to herself, and became one of the best wrestlers in the world. That says a lot about her integrity. I want to thank GCW for allowing me to take time to talk about my good friend and my favorite wrestler ever. And she might be an OG badass, but I'll always know her as Latina Sensation. Let's give it up for Mercedes Martinez!
Yeah. So y'all saw baby Mercedes Martinez on that video. That just reminds me how far I have come. And just to let you know, I am aging in reverse here. I don't like to speak in public, even though I am a wrestler. I tend to stutter. I tend to go on and on. I tend to get very nervous. So bear with me. I don't have much of a speech. I literally just write bullet notes and just want to speak from the heart and speak on a lot of things. First of all, I do want to say thank you, Lexi. Lexi has been an integral part of my career as well in my personal life. She has seen me through my toughest challenges in the last probably 3 or 4 years. She's been there. And not to give away my achievements or anything, but we have to give Lexi 5 her flowers as well. Without her, they wouldn't be in the state either. She was literally my first vet. I thought she was going to hurt me. It's the truth. You know, in this business, you learn to keep your eyes and ears open, but your mouth shut. You literally just have to listen, and that's all I ever did for the majority of my career, was always listen, 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 until I finally found my voice. And when you find your voice in this business, it is the most powerful tool you have, especially for women. My voice is my everything. I don't give a fuck about anything that has to do with anything, okay? And just so you know, maybe a little swearing. Okay, I am as real as they get. I come from Connecticut. My family's from New York, so if you know that area, man, be prepared for this speech, okay? But yeah, I do want to say thank you to GCW for this. I always thought that my contribution to wrestling was always going unnoticed. I was never the diva. I was always just one being true to oneself. That is the most important thing in this business, is to be true to yourself and make sure that when you look in the mirror that you are happy with what you're doing and what you are accomplishing. And that was my goal from the beginning, was to make sure that women's wrestling was put on the map, and diversity and different eras that I have seen, that I wanted to make sure that my era was going to be different for everyone coming after me. There's so much diversity now in women's wrestling, it is ridiculous. The diversity that you see. We are not anymore cookie cutters from the old ages. We are not those divas. Not that I put them down. Trust me, I had to watch them to learn my craft. If it wasn't for them, there would be no Mercedes, and there would be no future women's wrestlers that you see now. Now, I could talk to you all about my accolades and the titles and all that, but Google that shit, okay? Just Google it. It's all up there, Wikipedia, whatever you need to see. I ain't got time for that. I would rather use this platform to make sure that everyone understands what women wrestling is now. Me as a 19-year-old, shy, awkward, ghetto-ass person coming into this business, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I truly thought that I was going to be a police officer and member of SWAT. I still think I have it for that, don't you think? I mean, I'd rather be in a uniform than a wrestling uniform any day. But other than that, like, it's my trainer, Jason Knight, who I have seen last night for the first time in years, instilled in me the hard work and dedication to not only be a wrestler, but a woman wrestler in this business. It is very, very, very hard for us, that you guys cannot even imagine what we have to go through to even reach the levels of male counterparts. But I had a very good support crew, and Jason Knight was one of the most influential trainers that I have ever had. He instilled within me everything, and the one thing that he always told me, besides keeping my mouth shut, is that when you see something that is wrong, speak up. Because women, we have the voice to change the landscape of this business. We, together, and with the counterparts of our males, who are our brothers, you need to protect us. You need to be literally our brothers out there and watch over us, because we get literally, and I say this from the bottom of my heart, we get run over so much. So I know I'm rambling a little bit, and there's so much that I have to say, and what influences me and all that. It's very hard for me to speak. I'm a very, very, very private person. If you can tell by my social media, that just only started like 5 years ago. I always keep myself private for a reason. I believe that my personal life and my professional life are two different lives that we have to live. I believe that if my professional life and personal life clashes, there's just too much drama, too toxicity. That is what this business literally is. It's a love-hate relationship. It is a toxic relationship. One day I love it, the next day I'm like, when can I retire? And I want to retire every day, but I love it. 23 years in this business is unheard of. It's, you know, nowadays. For females, especially going at the rate that I am going. I never thought that I would even get a contract at 40 years old. That's impressive. You know, thank you. You know, it's boggles my mind that I am in the position that I am. I am the most quietest, humble person that you will ever find. I'm usually in the back there watching everybody and observing everything. So for me to be up here is not only an honor, but it is a privilege. It is something that I've never imagined in my careers, and something that I've never imagined ever in my entire life, to be on a platform as wrestling. I just, speaking from the heart here, wrestling has saved me in more times than I can even imagine. Wrestling brings out demons that people don't realize. And as a female wrestler, we go through a lot. There's so many demons as a female wrestler that we have to face to even get to a level of success that where I am now. I don't know how else to put it, but to think to a few people that have been in my life, Lexi being one of them, Jason being another, and my pops, Alpha, the Wild Samoan, who's a Hall of Famer himself. I don't know where to go from here. I do want to say and thank Dave Prazak for Shimmer. The first time I met Dave was at Volcano Girls. That was, I would like to say, the prototype for Shimmer, where he took, you know, some ghetto ass Puerto Rican girl and put her in front of everybody. And let me tell you something, Shimmer is literally the evolution and the revolution of women's wrestling. Shimmer is the integral part of what you see today. Anybody that has gone through Shimmer, me included, you are seeing on TV now, or as paved the way for what you are seeing now in women's wrestling. There is nothing better than Shimmer, and I know that it will come back at some point. Maybe not through the helm of Dave Prazak, but someone will pick that up. And there has been numerous women's companies out there that I have worked for. I've worked for NECW, who's one of the first companies that I worked for, was Sheldon Goldberg, who did Triple W. There has been Shine. There has been WSU here in the tri-state area. Can't forget them at all. I think WSU was the first time that I've ever actually booked the locker room and actually took over a locker room for the first time, being only a few years in. It's my job as a professional wrestler is not to only entertain people in front of thousands and in front of TV, but it was also to lead people in the locker room and to let them know that this is what has to be done. Like Lexi said, it's a matter of me knowing what to do for the promotion. It's not always about what you have to do for yourself, but it's what you do for the promotion that carries that promotion to the next level. And that's what I had to do for companies like Shimmer, companies like Shine, companies like WSU. It's mind-boggling for me to even know that I was even put in that position, because I don't see myself as a leader. I see myself just as a wrestler doing what has to be done for women's wrestling. Now, I truly believe that women's wrestling needs more women in everything. I think we need more women spearheading these promotions. We need more women camera people, more women announcers, more women referees, bell ringers. We need more women in creative. Sometimes you need a woman to handle what a woman sees and what a woman needs. Not to take away from male counterparts, but sometimes males just say, you don't understand our mind, man. You don't. But I think that it's the time now where we need more women promotions out there, spearheaded by all female cast. Because what better way to introduce female wrestling and introduce a new era than to have a literally all female promotion with everything females. And that is what I will strive to do after I finish wrestling at some point in my entire life. I don't know when, I don't know how, but it will happen. I was always called a diamond in the rough. I wasn't that diva that you saw on TV. I wasn't pretty enough. I was too rugged, too thugged. I spoke my mind a lot when needed to be said. I was a team player, but I wasn't a team player because when I knew something was wrong and when I knew something wasn't right for me, I spoke up. It cost me a lot of opportunities. It cost me TV time probably. It cost me championships, but it didn't matter because at the end of the day, when I spoke up, they listened and they heard and they would never ever cross me again. I grew up in this business from 19 and I'm now 43 years old. I grew up in this business just kind of watching, learning. And I grew up from the baby Mercedes that you saw on that video to a grown-ass woman. And it's amazing to see the locker rooms now that I see these young females, wrestlers, that come up to me and say, I've watched you since I was young, and I'm just like, man, I'm not that old, man. I'm really not. Like, I look great. I feel great. But that's still just, and for me to give them advice, and for me to mentor them, and for me to let them know, work smart, don't kill yourself. Because if you want longevity in this business, you have to work smart. You have to make sure that you understand that the concept of less is more, especially for females. We have a shelf life. whether we like it or not. Ageism is a big thing for females. You know, you hit a certain age and they say you're done. But we can overcome that by showing them that less is more, and we know how to work. We know how to look good in our own different ways. What you see on TV is people like Willow. Oh yeah, I love my Willow. You have the Lady Frost, who's a gymnast, who's up there. We're all up there, and we're doing our best. And I really am humbled to know that I helped spear that. You know, there's this whole motto of, how do they say it? It's leave the foundation, leave the business better than what you left it, right? And I believe that to a certain extent. I came into a foundation of women's wrestling where I didn't like it. I didn't like that foundation that was built for me. Granted, I love my veterans. I love my Aja Khan. I love my Minoe Toyota. I love my Jazz, my God. I love Jazz. I love Luna. And these are people that I've been in the ring with. But I had to break that foundation down because I was on an old premises. I needed to break that foundation and build something stronger to last up to now. I needed to keep building and building. And along with companies like Shimmer, along with my feud with Cerro de Rey, along with my feuds with cheerleader Melissa, along with wrestling with people like Lexi, Fife, Malaya, Hosaka, we had to keep building on a foundation that we broke. We had to break it and build something stronger and better for what we are going to see now. The future of women's wrestling is unpredictable. And the one thing that I do not want to see is us go backwards. And it doesn't just start with me, but it starts with the fans as well. All you fans out there that have supported me through my baby Mercedes era with no tattoos and coming out to Latina sensation to this new generation of being an OG badass Mercedes Martinez, you guys helped me become who I am. Because of the fans and changing the landscape of going from the divas to athleticism of women wrestlers, what you see now is amazing. I look at someone like Jade Cargill. What a powerhouse. It's hard to imagine. Sometimes the fans can break your spirit, but also can build it. Fans, you guys are what makes or breaks us. It really does. You know, I'm not a social media person, but there's comments and there's stuff like that, right? Understand that sometimes your words just matter. If you support women's wrestling, support it fully. We need your support to let women's wrestling strive to be better than what it is. It's not just us breaking that foundation, it's you guys helping us build that foundation. You are the layout, you are the cement, you are what helps us build that foundation for women's wrestling, you know? No, I don't want to keep rambling because, you know, I'm bored. I am. And I do want to tell you a story. When I asked Lexi to induct me, I called her up and I said, hey, I'm going into the Indie Hall of Fame, or, you know, this big thing. Can you induct me? The first thing she said was, oh, great, I get to get glammed up. I said, great, I get to get glammed up. I am not one. Oh, yeah, I did do it. That was my worst fear, is getting dressed up and putting all this glam and not being true to myself, but I only get glammed up for special occasions, so feel honored, all right? I do want to say thank you to my fellow wrestlers who had my back, literally in the locker rooms that I have been in, the boys in the locker room, especially my New York tribes and my Tri-State area, my Philly area. You guys have been an integral part of my career and learning and making sure that you guys didn't take advantage of me. But you guys treated me like your sisters. Joelle, I haven't seen, like the Maximos, I haven't seen you guys in so long, but you know, Dee is a great friend of mine, Homicide. People like that that had my back and protected me because I was their sister. Those are the locker rooms that I love. To the locker rooms with the females who we are a sisterhood. We literally are. We have each other's back. It's not about being catty. It's not about what you guys think you know. It's what really goes on in those locker rooms is we literally build each other up. If I can't make it to the main stage, I sure as hell will help someone get there. I really will. I would give them my boots if I had to make sure that if I wasn't there, they will make it. Someone will make it from our locker room. That is the camaraderie that we need. and we continue to strive for. I want to say thank you to every single promotion that has booked Mercedes Martinez. It was integral part of my career to make sure that I worked anywhere and everywhere that can book me, because I wanted to make that change. I really did. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you to my trainers and my mentor, one being Alpha, who has been with me since 2002 and still continue to this day to be my mentor. He is literally like my father. There's a reason why we call him Pops. He's not in good health at this moment, so my heart goes out to him and his family. But he was a very big part of my career, not just in a business sense, but in a very personal sense, where he instilled me to make sure that I was true to oneself, make sure I was true to myself, and make sure that no one ever changed me. And of course to Jason Knight, who without him there would be no Mercedes Martinez wrestling in that hard-ass ring. That had no give, gave me strawberries up the yin yang. Yeah, I'm talking about you over there, boss. I see you. Yeah, I see you. But give credit where credit's due. Jason Knight did help me a lot in my career. I remember him bringing people like Mr. Fuji and Bob Backlund to the training for us to learn. The ECW crew always came through, and even wrestling with the ECW crew, like Jazz. Jazz was amazing in my career. Someone like Angel Orsini, Riptide. So Jason, I know we haven't seen each other a lot, and don't be hiding from me anymore, but I do love you. You have been, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even thought about professional wrestling, truly. I really do. With that being said, I'm gonna cut this short because I don't wanna talk no more, because now I'm just like, what do I say? Just thank you. Thank you with all of my heart. Thank you for letting professional wrestling be a part of my life. Thank you for clapping for me, booing for me, loving me, hating me, letting me do this boring ass speech because I don't know how to speak in public very well, and just letting me be myself. That's really what it is. Letting me be who I am in front of the camera, letting me be myself in the ring. I really truly think that professional wrestling has a long way to go when it comes to women's wrestling, but we are almost there. And when I do hang up my Magnum boots that I've had since the beginning of my career, when I do hang those up, I do want to keep propelling women's wrestling at some point. If not, well, tough luck. But thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope this speech kind of got you guys in the gist of what I'm trying to go for. If not, well, too bad. Thank you.
Our final inductees to this year's class of the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame is honestly the best tag team of my lifetime. Nothing against all the other great tag teams that have come down the line, but the Briscoes are number one. And they're also my dad's favorite tag team of all time. So right now, let's take a look at the career of the Briscoes. I'll tell you, it was a privilege to work with the Briscoes, but right now it is an honor to bring up Mark Briscoe.
Y'all some good looking people, I tell you. Damn fine looking bunch here. Man, I tell you, this is, I mean, the word, well, for one, I ain't got an iPad or phone or notes. I'm just gonna call it in the ring. But yeah, man, this is humbling, man. It's like, honest, that's the first word that comes to mind. This is humbling. Just from being 15 years old, starting out. Yeah, and please, pardon me if I stutter and stammer a little bit, because I do a little bit of stuttering and stammering. And one of the main sounds that I struggle with is the word that starts with an I, like independent. See, I get stuck sometimes. So it might be more like independent with an H, but that's just how we're gonna do it. You know, if I get stuck, I might try to alter some things depending on whether or not I can get the word out. Sometimes I can't, sometimes I struggle. We all struggle with things though. See, that's that's part of it. We're gonna get past that. You know, but no, this is so humbling. From starting out, we had our first match May 20th, 2000 in Wilmington, Delaware, St. Matthew's Parish for Jim Kettner's, here we go, ECWA. But yeah, so now here we are, it'll be 24 years next month. You know, I was 15, Jamin was 16, so we'd already been doing we had already been wrestlers if you asked us, because we had built a ring in the backyard, and you know, we had been wrestlers by the time we started wrestling. But it's like a whole lifetime, and to be getting inducted into the Hall of Fame here with, you know, so many people that I've just known and that I've just met and grown to love over the years, man, it means so much. And you know, I want to thank all y'all first and foremost. But man, it's been a wild couple years, man. You know, like I said, we started back in 2000. Me and my brother, we started, like I said, even before that, we was wrestling each other when it's my son and my daughter here. When we was their age, we was wrestling each other just like they wrestle each other, and they will be up here in another 20, 30 years, whether he get them black, you know. But it's just crazy. Like to me, what this business is, what this job is, like I'm so blessed to be able to. This is how I feed my kids. This is how I feed my family. This is how I pay the bills. Like it's crazy, man. Like it's crazy. Like before I said my prayers when I was a kid each night, said, Lord, please let me grow up to be a pro wrestler. And it like happened so suddenly that it was like, oh shit, I'm a pro wrestler. You know, like, like damn, like they give me money. They didn't give us much money at first. They didn't give us much money at all. We, you know, had to. Most of the time we'd be losing money after paying for gas and whatnot, but that's what independent wrestling is, wrestling at its purest, truest, unadulterated form, man. It ain't nothing like professional wrestling, man. It ain't nothing like, it's a global thing. Like, you know, the NFL's, it's a big deal. The Major League Baseball, it's a big deal, but pro wrestling is global. Don't nobody in, I don't know, Timbuktu, don't nobody give a shit about the NFL. But everybody knows about wrestling. I mean, everybody everywhere knows about wrestling. Seems like wrestling and soccer, you know? Like, that's global, man. It's love, man. It's love. That's what it boils down to, is love, man. We all love this game. We all love this sport. We all love this activity. And we all come together to enjoy it together. And I'm going to say right now, people the haters, man, the haters need to go on somewhere. Like, I guess it's it's unavoidable. There's going to be haters in every aspect of life. But man, come on now, man. This is pro wrestling, man. Like the best thing in the world. The best thing in the world. But started back in 2000 in ECWA, and soon went to CZW. Met my lifelong brother Joel, Kelvin, Jose, the SA Keys, and me, Joel, Jose, Red, Chris Devine, Brian XL, Quiet Storm. We ran up and down the East Coast, man, like crazy. I remember we'd have shows up in Massachusetts and then had to be down Cornelia, Georgia the following night. Trent and Johnny, man, the good old days. It's crazy, man, how time flies, ain't it? It's crazy, man. And it's like, shoot, it's wild, man. But then when Ring of Honor started right here in Philly, we were there for the first show. Yeah, damn right. But Jamin was part of the first match, him and Red. I was too young to wrestle. I was 17 years old, and old Frank Talent. How about Frank Talent, huh? Remember Frank Talent? Yep. Don't spit. Remember, don't spit. Y'all the greatest. Y'all the best. You know what you're doing. Give me a hell of a show, but whatever you do, don't spit. Yep. Little Frank Talent did that, but he wouldn't let me wrestle till I was actually 18. Mom made me a damn good fake ID, but he. But it ain't worked. Old Frank quick, he got that Hawkeye. Yeah. So that first Ring of Honor show, it was like, I've said it before, it was like an independent wrestling all-star game. It was like all the best independent wrestlers from all over the place, from all over the country. Even Doug Williams coming in from overseas. I mean, it was like an all-star game, and it was like that first Ring of Honor show. It kind of changed everything because it was like now the indies kind of have a voice, kind of have an identity, and it was really, really cool, man. And just to see this convergence of talent and this convergence of personalities and of great wrestlers, great athletes, like all under one banner, the Ring of Honor banner. That was really cool, man, right here in Philly. So it's cool how everything comes full circle. Here we are, 2024, and we're back in Philly, man. And but like running the roads on the indies, there ain't nothing like it. Ain't nothing like it. It defies logic and it defies reason because, like I said, you're beating yourself up. Most times you're losing money. You might make a little bit, but that's only if you're lucky. And it takes time to get there. It takes a lot of time to get there. There's a lot of guys and girls who actually started with like WWE, for example. Like they come in from being a bodybuilder or an athlete, and I ain't knocking nobody, man, but it's just, man, the grind of the indies. I remember the old ECW t-shirt says the revolution grinds on, man. That's the indies, man. The indies, there's nothing like it. When Ring of Honor was bought by Sinclair Broadcasting, we could know, well, after a while, they had to sign exclusive contracts where we only wrestled for Ring of Honor, and we would have to get special permission to wrestle for the independents, which it was bittersweet because we were getting paid more money than we ever had before, which was very key because that's when my beautiful wife, who was pregnant with baby number 8, that's right around the time when she started having baby number 1 and 2, and we needed that financial stability, so that was nice. But still, it was like piece of my heart was kind of like it was just not fulfilled because we couldn't run the roads no more. We had to get permission, and a lot of times we wouldn't get permission because it was like we were exclusive to Ring of Honor. But it was weird in 2022, I guess the tail end of 2021, I think it was October 2021, when the Sinclair version of Ring of Honor had announced, we're closing up shop. And so everybody thought that Ring of Honor was going to be gone. Eventually, Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor, which was an amazing thing to happen. But when Ring of Honor was shutting up shop. It was bittersweet because it's like, oh man, we done lost our job, but oh shit, we get to go back and run the roads again, baby. And so 2022 was the most, incredible year after guns blazing, baddest tag team on the planet, running the roads, doing this, that, and everything, going overseas, all that stuff. And then we had to keep it contained there for the better part of a decade. But then now we're loose again. So 2022, we called it the Guns Blazing Tour, the Briscoe brothers, Guns Blazing, man. We was here, there, everywhere. GCW, man. Shit, had so fun in GCW. Goodness gracious. But just being back on the indies, no feeling like it, man. Just unreal, man. Independent wrestling is where it's at, man. It's pure. It's pure. It's love, man. The love of the game, love for each other. Like it's untouched. It's unadulterated. You don't know what you can get anything on the indies, man. You can like different strokes for different folks. Like that's the indies. Like if you don't like this kind of wrestling, then go watch this other independent promotion down the road. You know what I mean? You a deathmatch guy, there's death matches on the indies. You a technical wrestling guy, you got that on the indies. You like women's wrestling, you got that on the indies. Like that's the beauty of independent wrestling, man. It's just the love of the game. But so 2022, Guns Blazing, the Briscoe brothers are just doing our thing on the indies once again, and there's nothing like it. But then Tony bought Ring of Honor, and then we end up having these matches with FTR, which were really, it's just the timing of things is crazy, man. Timing of things is crazy. When Jay Briscoe, when we had that dog collar match in December 2022, and Jay Briscoe's out there with a crimson mask, just in all his glory, what God put him on earth to do, to go in the wrestling ring. To go in that wrestling ring, to bust his ass, to bleed like a wild man, to look like just a wild, just crazy individual, and then like for that dog collar match to be kind of like our swan song, man, kind of like what we got to go out on. That was really cool, man. That was really cool. And that wasn't our last match. Our last match, fittingly, we put over the brothers' main event up in House of Glory. But that's how you do, man. When you're on your way out, you put over the younger talent. You know what I mean? Give them the rub, give them the swat on the ass, and go kill it. Go kill it. Tell them go kill it. So it's just really cool, really. I thought it was really, really strangely appropriate on that last year, 2022, when we got to let the guns blaze again. And then we had them 3 matches with FTR, which kind of was like, oh shoot, these boys, I might have heard of them before, but damn, they are pretty good, they are pretty good. And it's like, on the indies, man, there's so many guys, so many girls that if they had the chance to be seen, then they would get that same reaction. But yeah, I ain't gonna go on too long. I just want to thank y'all. There's an absolute privilege and an honor, and it's humbling. And man, God bless y'all. I want to tell everybody, man, God loves y'all. God loves all y'all. It don't matter what you done did, where you come from, you know what I mean? Gay, straight, none of that matters, man. And some people will lie to you and tell you that it does. God, man, God is not religion. Religion, for the most part, man, is bullshit, man. And but God's real. Like that's the thing. Huge difference there. And I want people to understand that. Me and Jamie used to say, after a while, we get talking on the long ride to the airport, It'd be like, man, it's like we're like undercover agents for the kingdom of God. Like we're going in here, like going in here sneaking behind enemy lines, because the devil's a liar, man, and he hates you even if whatever he gonna lie to you and say. Like, man, just keep that in mind, that I love you, God loves you, God bless you, man. I thank y'all so much. I'm humbled and I'm honored and appreciate this so much. It means the world. For my brother, the Jimi Hendrix of this pro wrestling shit, he would be like, man, stop, y'all, yeah, come on. But anyway, I'll leave it on that.
Again, congratulations to all of the inductees in the 2024 Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame. We'd like to thank all the fans here in the Philadelphia area for your support of every independent wrestling promotion over the years. It's only through that all these wrestlers can achieve their goals and live their dreams.
Yes, we'd like to thank you all very much for joining us, for supporting Game Changer Wrestling, and more importantly, supporting independent wrestling.